Start with your hands directly underneath your shoulders and keep your knees at 90 degrees the entire time. This is a contralateral movement, which means as we move, we want to start to get faster and faster, but keep perfect form. As you get faster at this, you want to make sure that your back stays parallel to the ground. Lay face down in a T position and try to bring your opposite foot toward your other hand. So if it's your left foot, you're trying to bring it up to your right hand, and the point of this movement is to activate whichever glute is moving. It's important that while you lift your foot up, you try as hard as you can not to let your hips come off the ground too much. So the walking toe touch looks simple, but the big thing to remember here is to come down as deep as you can and then come right back up to perfect posture, meaning come right back up to shoulders being rolled back and chest being high. And for this next one, the goal is to get a deep hamstring stretch by hinging your hips toward the wall behind you with only a slight bend in the knees. At the same time, you want to simultaneously reach both arms forward and push your head through. So for the inchworm, what you want to do is start in a push-up position and walk your feet up to your hands, which should be stable. And then by the time you get to a point where you can't stretch your legs and hamstrings and calves anymore, what you gotta do is walk your hands back out forward. And then once you reach a spot back to your push-up position, what you gotta do is inch back up. For this stretch, it's important that if your back feet can't come up too close to your hands, you stop as soon as you need to and then move your hands forward out. So just go as far as your range of motion can get. Even if you can't move your feet close to your hands in the beginning, the more you focus on proper form in this one, the faster you'll progress to dynamic flexibility. So performing these bodyweight squats, what I want you to do is get as low as you possibly can and contact me if you feel any pain or notice that your heels are rising or knees are caving inward toward one another. So this next movement is really good to figure out shoulder mobility and posture in general. So what I want you to do is have your butt, your shoulders, your elbows, your hands, and your head all against the wall. While doing this motion, I want you to really think about if you feel any pain in any specific area and contact me and tell me about it. And just to reiterate, the landmarks that I want you to keep against the wall include your glutes, your back, shoulder blades, shoulders, elbows, hands, and head. When doing these, I want you to tell me if you feel any of those landmarks coming off of the wall, or if it is more difficult for you to raise one arm higher than the other arm. So for this one, start on your hands and your knees with your hands underneath your shoulders and knees at 90 degrees. You want to keep your palm down to the ground the entire movement on both sides. The goal of this is to get some spinal mobility, but you're probably going to feel some stretch in either your posterior delt or your lats. So this stretch is called the cat flow, which is not often used in the fitness industry, but it's used a lot in yoga. But it's really important to do because it strengthens and stretches the spine and neck, and also stretches the hips, core, and back. It can be really good for getting some thoracic spine opening, which is your upper back, and that's a part of our back that we almost never get to stretch out. The This next one is called a hard style tension push-up, and basically what we're doing here is we're tensing every single muscle in the body. This will make gains in every single one of your lifts. You want to keep your glutes as tight as possible, your quads as tight as possible, your core as tight as possible. You want to start with your hands underneath your shoulders, and you want to keep your elbows in. So it should be difficult to do even just 8 of these. It's not a bad thing if you find yourself shaking while doing these push-ups, because that means that you're doing full contraction the entire time. And I like to tell clients the analogy that your central nervous system is just like a light bulb. So if a light bulb is flickering, it's pretty much the same thing as your central nervous system flickering. So when you're shaking, you're flickering just like a light bulb. And the less you flicker, the more you're able to shine, aka use your strength and use your central nervous system.